Lerner. And from Friday the 13th too, famous for sackhead Jason, please welcome Ellen Lutter. And from a multitude of films, including we would say Halloween Ends as the recent Silent Night, Deadly Night, please welcome Rohan Campbell. So what we'll do, if you have a question, please raise your hand. If we call on you, please stand up. We don't do the run around with a microphone kind of stuff. If you would just stand up and say your question loudly so that we can hear it. And if we can't, we'll repeat it so everybody can hear it, and we'll go from there. So who wants to be the first brave person? Look at this. Woo! All right.
Pick on the what? Oh, yeah, it was. I don't know. It was kind of like a video game, you know. It was with the strobe lights going off and everything. It was kind of fun. Yeah, exciting.
Okay. Who else has a question? Raise your hand. I can't see because of the glare. Nobody has a question. You guys are all shy. Oh, okay. So right here.
Questions for Rohan.
Yes, sir.
Were your parents really big Lord of the Rings fans?
I wish it was that easy. No, my dad's just a literary nerd. My name is Old Irish. It means red. My dad's got red hair. And he was wishful thinking, although I'm a little bit red, so, maybe it worked. But that's the origin of my name. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan.
Okay, right here in the middle.
Was there ever any idea to keep your character in Aliens, keep the stay open-ended, or was it always he was gonna die from the get-go?
You know what? We had such a good time shooting the movie that I think not a day went by where we just went how do we leave this open so we can all come back and do this again together? But I think to David's credit, it's his chapter to open and close at the end of the day, and I think he loves an ending, so for us it felt right. But I will say we were shooting the interior of Laurie's house, and right before Michael broke my neck, we all looked at each other and went, nah, let's kill him.
Okay, over here.
Hi, my question's for Rohan. When you found out that you were going to pretty much beat up Michael Myers, were you no?
I tried really hard not to think about it. There's a whole legacy of a much taller, scarier Michael Myers before me, so it didn't really seem real, to be honest with you. I was talking to somebody today, and I was like, rewatching that movie with the mindset of maybe some of the interactions between Michael and Corey never actually happened. That's a fun way to watch that movie. Not to say that's how it was intended, but it's a fun way to watch the movie.
So was that a hint?
No. I'm just weird, and I like to watch movies different ways. But I don't know. There's stuff where Corey and Michael are in the sewers. Again, not the way it was intended. So nobody run away with this narrative. But there's times where I think people going through what he's going through, the idea that some of that stuff was made up in his own head to radicalize him or whatever that is, or maybe he stumbled across the mask on his own. It's just a fun way to watch that movie. If you watch it in a way of maybe someone's just fully going through psychosis, that's a really interesting, because it's even the convenience of meeting Andy's character and falling in love that fast and all of that narrative. It becomes an interesting sort of.
So when you get the script and you find out the high school band is beating you up, what do you what the hell?
Yeah, well, we've all been there. No, I think, I was like, what the hell? And then I met one of David Gordon Green's favorite friends, best friends, Paul Logan, who wrote the script with him. He actually had that experience growing up. His worst bullies were the high school band.
Really?
And David heard about that and was like, we should put this in the movie. And so that's what we did.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I always wondered what the background in that was. It felt like there was a background.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's background to everything in a movie.
Yeah.
Even if people look you in the face and lie, they're telling it's always the truth
Yeah.
at some level, or it's a nightmare, or a dream, something like that.
All right. Who else had a question? Over here.
For Alan, coming up with the look for Jason Voorhees for part 2, like, what went into your thought process for that?
Well, actually, in the script, Jason wasn't particularly described. So we played around with how supernatural this person was because, first of all, interesting, just talking about watching films and taking a different perspective when you watch it. There was also the end of Friday the 13th, where the boy comes out of the lake, and you could look at it as a fantasy, as like, a traumatic, fantasy that Adrian King was having. And, but now Jason has actually come out of the lake. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, okay, so what is this? What logic is there? And what we wanted to do, what we decided was that this was not the creature from the Black Lagoon. This was a deranged child living in the woods. And so also in terms of indicating that, we decided that the best idea would be some simple costume that sort of reflected what he might be able to steal off a clothesline or whatever. And plus, since it was a $2 movie, there was no way this guy was getting prosthetics on his face every day that he was working. I mean, there's not happening, So we came up with the sack because it was so simple and also like very human, like not something super cool or particularly, or even like super strange or just something that wasn't human. It was like, this was a really scary human character at that point. Anyway, and plus just a mask suddenly popping out. A mask like that suddenly popping out of the woods is kind of terrifying. I mean, it's a terrifying image no matter what. Like you don't want to see somebody with a hood of a sack head coming at you. You just don't. I don't. But
that's not your dream Hollywood. Got it.
I rhyme actually. But so anyway, yeah. So that was that was kind of the process that we went through, going what are we saying about this character, and we wanted the character at that point in time to be like terrifyingly human. So that's where that came from.
Well, in the movie, I mean, in making the movie, like when you look at it, you see the guy with the sack on his head, but the practicality of that, how hard was that to keep the sack in place so he could actually...
It wasn't that hard.
Oh, no?
No, because I know this sounds crazy, but if you watch it, actually, it's not as though it's not as though it was worn every single day, and it had to be like, a high-tech version. Do you know what I mean? And plus, like I said, it was low budget. We basically used toupee tape. Right?
Genius.
Like totally, and you have to, and like I said, it's not like this was, it's not like the actor spent that much time in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, running around in the hood or whatever, but it's not like it was,
I just thought it would be difficult, like, to line up the eye and keep it...
No, actually no.
Oh, wow.
It really wasn't that bad, but it's funny. It's funny with filmmaking. Some things can be done, some things you're stuck with, high-tech, custom-made, all this kind of stuff, and other things are really basic. Like worked on a job called You Don't Mess with the Zohan. It was an Adam Sandler job, and the character had to have a bulging crotch. Okay, this is just one of the things that you do.
Hide your eyes, Rohan.
breast.
No, I'm just laughing at the behind the mask.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Breast, crotch, and butt technology is just something that you know as a costume designer. Anyway, so we had to, we said, all right, I guess we'll have something built. I don't know, we'll figure it out. But for the fittings, we simply used an athletic cup with yak hair glued on it. I swear to God. And because we had to have fittings, and we were, and we had to have multiples of costumes. So sometimes we made things like, we made blue jeans, things like that you couldn't get multiple, whatever. Anyway, so that was, and we had little boxer briefs, and it was just slip the thing into a panel for the fittings, and it was like done. I mean, I figured we would have to do some kind of, prosthetic, a mold. We got to get the guy in from special effects. No, it was and Adam was happy because it looked great. It's like he looked in town. He couldn't be happier. It was comfortable. It was very exciting. And the only problem was at one point he was his bush, because it was had to wave goodbye, and then that had to be that was monofilament on either side so that it could wave goodbye. But that would have been, and had I known that, we probably would have done some crazy machine. No, you really do, because you're like, I don't know what's going on.
But the practical always works the best. Not always, but like 99% of the time.
No, practical is just brilliant. It's brilliant. It's also, it forces you all to work it. Like the actor has to work, it has to understand, what they're wearing or playing with, whatever. The cameraman, the camera person has to.
It's nice to be backed in a corner sometimes.
Yes,
to make the
yes.
only decision instead of maybe a million different decisions.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That you're like.
Everyone's on board to be like, this is the only thing that's going to work, so let's do this the best way possible.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a funny thing. So. Anyway.
Which is also like the origin of so many iconic things, like the original Halloween mask. Like one of those things, it's like you see it on a shelf, it's a discount rate, great, that'll work.
Right.
And it becomes this insanely iconic look, practical stuff.
Right, exactly. It's like sometimes it's just keep it simple, stupid,
Okay, who else has a question?